Act 2, Scene 2. Romeo returns.
It's easy for someone to joke about scars if they've never been cut.
Juliet enters on the balcony.
But wait, what's that light in the window over there? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Rise up, beautiful sun, and kill the jealous moon. The moon is already sick and pale with grief because you, Juliet, her maid, are more beautiful than she.
Diana is the goddess of the moon and of virginity. Romeo implies that Juliet is a servant of the moon as long as she's a virgin.
Don't be her maid because she is jealous. Virginity makes her look sick and green. Only fools hold on to their virginity. Let it go. Oh, there's my lady. Oh, there's my love. Oh, I wish she knew how much I love her. She's talking, but she's not saying anything. So what? Her eyes are saying something. I will answer them. I am too bold. She's not talking to me. Two of the brightest stars in the whole sky had to go away on business, and they're asking her eyes to twinkle in their places until they return. What if her eyes were in the sky, and the stars were in her head? The brightness of her cheeks would outshine the stars the way the sun outshines a lamp. If her eyes were in the night sky, they would shine so brightly through space that birds would start singing, thinking her light was the light of day. Look how she leans her hand on her cheek. Oh, I wish I was the glove on that hand so that I could touch that cheek.
Oh, my. To himself.
She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel. You are as glorious as an angel tonight. You shine above me like a winged messenger from heaven who makes mortal men fall on their backs to look up at the sky, watching the angel walking on the clouds and sailing on the air.
Not knowing Romeo hears her. Oh, Romeo, Romeo. Why do you have to be Romeo? Forget about your father and change your name. Or else, if you won't change your name, just swear you love me and I'll stop being a Capulet. To himself.
Should I listen for more? Or should I speak now?
Still not knowing Romeo hears her. It's only your name that's my enemy. You'd still be yourself even if you stopped being a Montague. What's a Montague anyway? It isn't a hand, a foot, an arm, a face, or any other part of a man. Oh, be some other name. What does a name mean? The thing we call a rose would smell just as sweet if we called it by any other name. Romeo would be just as perfect, even if he wasn't called Romeo. Romeo, lose your name. Trade in your name, which really has nothing to do with you, and take all of me in exchange. To Juliet.
I trust your words. Just call me your love and I will take a new name. From now on, I will never be Romeo again.
Who are you? Why do you hide in the darkness and listen to my private thoughts?
I don't know how to tell you who I am by telling you a name. I hate my name, dear saint, because my name is your enemy. If I had it written down, I would tear up the paper.
I haven't heard you say 100 words yet, but I recognize the sound of your voice. Aren't you Romeo? And aren't you a Montague?
I am neither of those things if you dislike them.
Tell me, how did you get in here? And why did you come? The orchard walls are high and it's hard to climb over them. If any of my relatives find you here, they'll kill you because of who you are.
I flew over these walls with the light wings of love. Stone walls can't keep love out. Whatever a man in love can possibly do, his love will make him try to do it. Therefore, your relatives are no obstacle.
If they see you, they'll murder you.
Alas, one angry look from you would be worse than 20 of your relatives with swords. Just look at me kindly. I'm invincible against their hatred.
I'd give anything to keep them from seeing you here.
The darkness will hide me from them. And if you don't love me, let them find me here. I'd rather they killed me than have to live without your love.
Who told you how to get here below my bedroom?
Love showed me the way. The same thing that made me look for you in the first place. Love told me what to do, and I let love borrow my eyes. I'm not a sailor, but if you were across the farthest sea, I would risk everything to gain you.
You can't see my face because it's dark out. Otherwise, you'd see me blushing about the things you've heard me say tonight. I would be happy to keep up good manners and deny the things I said. But forget about good manners. Do you love me? I know you'll say yes, and I'll believe you. But if you swear you love me, you might turn out to be lying. They say Jove laughs when lovers lie to each other.
Jove, also called Jupiter, was the king of the Roman gods.
Oh, Romeo, if you really love me, say it truly. Or, if you think it's too easy and quick to win my heart, I'll frown and play hard to get, as long as that will make you try to win me. But otherwise, I wouldn't act that way for anything. In truth, handsome Montague, I like you too much, so you may think my behavior is loose. But trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove myself more faithful than girls who act coy and play hard to get. I should have been more standoffish, I confess. But you overheard me talking about the love in my heart when I didn't know you were there. So, excuse me, and do not assume that because you made me love you so easily, my love isn't serious.
Lady, I swear by the sacred moon above, the moon that paints the tops of fruit trees with silver.
Don't swear by the moon. The moon is always changing. Every month, its position in the sky shifts. I don't want you to turn out to be that inconsistent, too.
What should I swear by?
Don't swear at all. But if you have to swear, swear by your wonderful self, which is the God I worship like an idol, and then I'll believe you.
If my heart's dear love,
Well, don't swear. Although you bring me joy, I can't take joy in this exchange of promises tonight. It's too crazy. We haven't done enough thinking. It's too sudden. It's too much like lightning, which flashes and then disappears before you can say it's lightning. My sweet, good night. Our love, which right now is like a flower bud in the summer air, may turn out to be a beautiful flower by the next time we meet. I hope you enjoy the same sweet peace and rest I feel in my heart.
oh, going to leave me so unsatisfied.
What satisfaction could you possibly have tonight?
I would be satisfied if we made each other true promises of love.
I pledged my love to you before you asked me to, yet I wish I could take that promise back. So I had it to give again.
You would take it back. Why would you do that, my love?
Only to be generous and give it to you once more. But I'm wishing for something I already have. My generosity to you is as limitless as the sea, and my love is as deep. The more love I give you, the more I have. Both loves are infinite.
The nurse calls from off stage. Madam! Madam!
I hear a noise inside. Dear love, goodbye. Just a minute, good nurse. Sweet Montague, be true. Stay here for a moment. I'll come back.
Juliet exits.
Oh, blessed, blessed night. Because it's dark out, I'm afraid all this is just a dream, too sweet to be real.
Juliet enters on her balcony.
3 words, dear Romeo, and then it's good night for real. If your intentions as a lover are truly honorable and you want to marry me, send me word tomorrow. I'll send a messenger to you, and you can pass on a message telling me where and when we'll be married. I'll lay all my fortunes at your feet and follow you, my lord, all over the world.
Off stage.
Madam!
To the nurse.
I'll be right there.
To Romeo.
But if you don't have honorable intentions, I beg you.
Off stage.
Madam!
All right, I'm coming. I beg you to stop trying for me and leave me to my sadness. Tomorrow I'll send the messenger.
My soul depends on it.
1,000 times good night.
Juliet exits.
Leaving you is 1,000 times worse than being near you. A lover goes toward his beloved as enthusiastically as a schoolboy leaving his books. But when he leaves his girlfriend, he feels as miserable as the schoolboy on his way to school.
Romeo starts to leave. Juliet returns on her balcony.
Romeo! Oh, I wish I could make a falconer's call so I could bring my little falcon back again.
Juliet is trying to call to Romeo as if he was a falcon.
I'm trapped in my family's house, so I must be quiet. Otherwise, I would rip open the cave where Echo sleeps.
Echo, a mythical woman who was scorned by Narcissus, withered with sadness, repeating his name. And after her death, her voice still reverberated in caves, which is why we have the word echo.
I would make her repeat his name until her voice grew more hoarse than mine by repeating, "My Romeo!"
My soul is calling out my name. The sound of lovers calling each other's names through the night is silver sweet. It's the sweetest sound a lover ever hears.
Romeo!
My baby hawk,
What time tomorrow should I send a messenger to you?
by 9 o'clock.
I won't fail. From now until then seems like 20 years. I have forgotten why I called you back.
Let me stand here until you remember your reason.
I'll forget it, and you'll have to stand there forever. I'll only remember how much I love your company.
I'll keep standing here, even if you keep forgetting. I'll forget that I have any home besides this spot right here.
It's almost morning. I want to make you go, but I'd only let you go as far as a spoiled child lets his pet bird go. He lets the bird hop a little from his hand and then yanks him back by a string.
I wish I was your bird.
My sweet, so do I. But I would kill you by petting you too much. Good night. Good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I'll say good night until tonight becomes tomorrow.
Juliet exits.
I hope you sleep peacefully. I wish I were sleep and peace, so I could spend the night with you. Now I'll go see my priest to ask for his help and to tell him about my good luck.
He exits. Act 2, Scene 3. Friar Lawrence enters by himself, carrying a basket.
The smiling morning is replacing the frowning night. Darkness is stumbling out of the sun's path like a drunk man. Now, before the sun comes up and burns away the dew, I have to fill this basket of mine with poisonous weeds and medicinal flowers. The earth is nature's mother, and also nature's tomb. Plants are born out of the earth, and they are buried in the earth when they die. From the earth's womb, many different sorts of plants and animals come forth, and the earth provides her children with many excellent forms of nourishment. Everything nature creates has some special property, and each one is different. Herbs, plants, and stones possess great power. There's nothing on earth that is so evil that it does not provide the earth with some special quality. And there is nothing that does not turn bad if it's put to the wrong use and abused. Virtue turns to vice if it's misused. Vice sometimes becomes virtue through the right activity.
Romeo enters.
Inside the little rind of this weak flower, there is both poison and powerful medicine. If you smell it, you feel good all over your body. But if you taste it, you die. There are two opposite elements in everything, in men as well as in herbs, good and evil. When evil is dominant, death soon kills the body like cancer.
Good morning, Father.
God bless you. Who greets me so early in the morning? Young man, something's wrong if you're getting out of bed this early. Every old man has worries, and worried men never get any sleep. But young men shouldn't have a care in the world. They should get to bed early and get plenty of sleep. Therefore, the fact that you're awake this early tells me you've been upset with some anxiety. If that's not the case, then this must be the answer. You, Romeo, have not been to bed tonight.
Your last guess is right. I enjoyed a sweeter rest than sleep.
May God forgive you if you've sinned. Were you with Rosaline?
With Rosaline, Father. No, I have forgotten that girl and all the sadness she brought me.
That's good, my boy. But where have you been?
I'll tell you before you have to ask me again. I have been feasting with my enemy. Suddenly, someone wounded me with love and was wounded with love by me. You have the sacred power to cure both of us. I carry no hatred, holy man, because my request will benefit my enemy.
Speak plainly. Make your meaning clear, my son. A jumbled confession can only receive a jumbled absolution.
I love rich Capulet's daughter. I love her and she loves me. We're bound to each other in every possible way, except we need you to marry us. I'll tell you more later about when and where we met, how we fell in love, and how we exchanged promises. But now I'm begging you, please agree to marry us today.
Holy St. Francis, this is a drastic change. Have you given up so quickly on Rosaline, whom you loved so much? Then young men love with their eyes, not with their hearts. Jesus and Mary, how many tears did you cry for Rosaline? How many salty teardrops did you waste, salting a love you never tasted? The sun hasn't yet melted away the fog you made with all your sighs. The groans you used to make are still ringing in my old ears. There's still a stain on your cheek from an old tear that hasn't been washed off yet. If you were ever yourself and this sadness was yours, you and your sadness were all for Rosaline. And now you've changed? Then repeat this after me. You can't expect women to be faithful when men are so unreliable.
You scolded me often for loving Rosaline.
I scolded you for obsessing about her, not for loving her, my student.
And you told me to bury my love.
I didn't tell you to get rid of one love and replace her with another.
Please, I beg you, don't scold me. The girl I love now returns my love. The other girl did not love me.
Oh, she knew very well that you were acting like you were in love without really knowing what love means. But come on, inconsistent young man, come with me. I'll help you with your secret wedding. This marriage may be lucky enough to turn the hatred between your families into pure love.
Let's get out of here. I'm in a rush.
Go wisely and slowly. Those who rush stumble and fall.
They exit. Act 2, Scene 4. Benvolio and Mercutio enter.
Where the devil can Romeo be? Didn't he come home last night?
Not to his father's house. I asked a servant.
That fair-skinned, hard-hearted hussy, Rosaline, is going to torment him until he goes insane.
Tybalt, old Capulet's nephew, has sent a letter to Romeo's father's house.
I bet it's a challenge.
Romeo will answer the challenge.
Any man who knows how to write can answer a letter.
No, Romeo will respond to the letter's writer, telling him whether he accepts the challenge.
Oh, poor Romeo. He's already dead. He's been stabbed by a white girl's black eye. He's been cut through the ear with a love song. The center of his heart has been split by blind Cupid's arrow. Is he man enough at this point to face off with Tybalt?
Why? What's Tybalt's story?
He's tougher than the Prince of Cats.
The Prince of Cats is a figure from medieval lore whose first name was also Tybalt.
He does everything by the book. He fights like you sing at a recital, paying attention to time, distance, and proportion. He takes the proper breaks, 1, 2, and the third in your heart. He's the butcher who can hit any silk button, a master of duels. He's a gentleman from the finest school of fencing. He knows how to turn any argument into a sword fight.
Mercutio lists Italian terms for fencing moves.
He knows passado, the forward thrust, the punto reverso, the backhand thrust, and the hey, the thrust that goes straight through.
He knows what?
I hate these crazy affected guys who use foreign phrases and newfangled expressions. I hate their strange manners and their weird accents. I hate it when they say, "By Jesus, this is a very good blade, a very brave man, a very good whore." Isn't this a sad thing, my good man? Why should we put up with these foreign buzzards, these fashion mongers, these guys who say, "Pardon me," these guys who care so much about manners that they can't kick back on a bench without whining, "Oh, my aching bones"?
Romeo enters.
Here comes Romeo. Here comes Romeo.
He looks skinny, like a dried herring without its eggs, and he hasn't got his girl. Oh, flesh, flesh, you've turned pale and weak like a fish.
Mercutio teases Romeo by alluding to the poet Petrarch and 6 mythical and historical women who inspired love poetry.
Now he's ready for Petrarch's poetry. Compared to Romeo's girl, Laura was a kitchen slave. Surely she has a better love to make rhymes for her. Dido was shabbily dressed. Cleopatra was a gypsy girl. Helen and Hero were sluts and harlots. Thisbe might have had a blue eye or two, but that doesn't matter. Signor Romeo, bonjour. There's a French greeting that matches your drooping French-style pants. You faked us out pretty good last night.
Good morning to you both. What do you mean I faked you out?
You gave us the slip, sir. The slip. Can't you understand what I'm saying?
Excuse me, good Mercutio. I had very important business to take care of. It was so important that I had to forget about courtesy and good manners.
In other words, important business made you flex your buttocks.
Mercutio implies Romeo's business was sexual.
You mean do a curtsy?
You've hit the target, sir.
This is sexual double entendre.
That's a very polite and courteous explanation.
Yes, I am the pink flower, the master of courtesy and manners.
The pink flower.
Pink flower suggests the female genitalia.
Right.
Well, then my pump is well decorated with flowers.
Romeo plays along. Pump equals shoe and penis.
All right, my witty friend. This joke has worn out your pump. Its thin skin is all worn out. The joke is all you have left.
This is a bad joke. It's all silliness.
Come break this up, Benvolio. I'm losing this duel of wits.
Keep going, or I'll declare myself the winner.
Now, if our jokes go on a wild goose chase, I'm finished. You have more wild goose in one of your jokes than I have in 5 of mine. Was I even close to you in the chase for the goose?
You were never with me for anything if you weren't there for the goose.
Romeo implies that Mercutio is only good for jokes.
I'll bite you on the ear for that joke.
No, good goose, don't bite me.
Your joke is a very bitter apple. Your humor is a spicy sauce.
Then isn't it just the right dish for a sweet goose?
Oh, that's a joke made out of leather that spreads itself thin from the width of an inch to as fat as a yard.
I stretch my joke for that word, fat. If you add that word to the word goose, it shows that you are a fat goose.
Why, isn't all this joking better than groaning about love? Now you're sociable. Now you're Romeo. Now you are what you've learned to be and what you are naturally. This love of yours was like a blithering idiot who runs up and down looking for a hole to hide his toy in.
Toy equals a double entendre for penis.
Stop there. Stop there.
You want me to stop my tale before I'm done?
Tail equals a double entendre for penis.
Otherwise, your tail would have gotten too long.
Oh, you're wrong. I would have made it short. I had come to the deepest part of my tale, and I planned to say nothing more on the topic.
The nurse enters with her servant, Peter.
Here's something good.
A sail! A sail!
Benvolio makes the cry of a sailor who spots another ship on the horizon because the nurse is fat and silly looking.
There's two, a man and a woman.
Peter! I'm at your service. Give me my fan, Peter.
Good Peter, give her her fan to hide her face. Her fan is prettier than her face.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, fair lady.
Is it now afternoon?
It's not earlier than that, I tell you. The lusty hand of the clock is now pricking noon.
Again, Mercutio's language is full of offensive sexual innuendo.
Get out of here. What kind of man are you?
I am a man, my lady, that God has made for himself to ruin.
I swear you speak the truth. For himself to ruin, he says. Gentlemen, can any of you tell me where I can find young Romeo?
I can tell you, but young Romeo will be older when you find him than he was when you started looking for him. I am the youngest man by that name because there was no one younger or worse.
You speak well.
Is the worst well? Very well taken, I believe. Very wise.
To Romeo.
If you're the Romeo I'm looking for, sir, I would like to have a confidence with you.
The nurse means conference, not confidence. This is a joke called a malapropism, where the right word is replaced by a similar sounding word with a completely different meaning.
She will indict him to some dinner party.
Benvolio makes fun of the nurse by saying indict instead of invite.
A pimp! A pimp! A pimp! I found it out.
What have you found out?
She's not a prostitute unless she's using her ugliness to hide her promiscuity.
He walks by them and sings,
Old rabbit meat is good to eat if you can't get anything else. But if it's so old that it goes bad before you eat it, then it was a waste of money.
speaking.
Romeo, are you going to your father's for lunch? Let's go there.
I'll follow after you.
Mercutio mockingly sings a romantic song to the nurse.
Goodbye, old lady. Goodbye, lady, lady, lady.
Benvolio and Mercutio exit.
Please tell me, sir, who was that foul-mouthed punk who was so full of crude jokes?
Nurse, he's a man who likes to hear the sound of his own voice. He says more in 1 minute than he does in a whole month.
If he says anything against me, I'll humble him, even if he were stronger than he is, and 20 punks like him. If I can't do it myself, I'll find someone who can. Dirty rat. I'm not one of his sluts. I'm not one of his punk friends who carries a knife.
To Peter.
And you just stand there, letting every jerk make fun of me for kicks.
I didn't see anybody use you for kicks. If I had seen something like that, I would have quickly pulled out my weapon. Believe me, I'll draw my sword as quick as any other man if I see a fight starting and the law's on my side.
Now I swear I'm so angry that I'm shaking all over. Rotten scoundrel.
To Romeo.
Now please, may I have a word with you, sir? My young mistress asked me to find you. What she asked me to say, I'll keep to myself. But let me tell you this first. If you lead her into a fool's paradise, as the saying goes, it would be an outrageous crime because the girl is so young. And if you try to trick her, it would be an evil thing to do to any woman and very poor behavior.
Nurse, give my regards to your lady. I swear to you.
You have a good heart. And believe me, I'll tell her that. Lord, Lord, she'll be a happy woman.
What are you going to tell her, nurse? You're not paying attention to me.
Sir, I'll tell her that you protest to her, which I think is the gentlemanly thing to do.
Here the nurse makes another malapropism, saying protest when she means propose.
Tell her to devise a plan to get out of her house and come to confession at the Abbey this afternoon. At Friar Lawrence's cell, she can make confession and be married.
Giving her coins.
Here is a reward for your efforts.
No, really, I won't take a penny.
Go on, I insist you take it.
Taking the money.
This afternoon, sir? She'll be there.
Wait, good nurse. Within an hour, one of my men will come to you behind the Abbey wall and give you a rope ladder. I'll use the rope ladder to climb over the walls at night. Then I'll meet Juliet joyfully and in secret. Goodbye. Be honest and helpful, and I'll repay you for your efforts. Goodbye. Sing my praises to your mistress.
May God in heaven bless you. Now, please, listen, sir.
What do you have to say, my dear nurse?
Can your man keep a secret? Haven't you ever heard the saying, two can conspire to put one away?
I assure you, my man is as true as steel.
Well, sir, my mistress is the sweetest lady. Lord, Lord, when she was a little baby. Oh, there is one nobleman in the city, a guy named Paris, who would be happy to claim her as his own. Juliet would rather look at a toad than at him. I make her angry sometimes by saying that Paris is more handsome than you are, but when I say so, I swear she turns white as a sheet. Don't Rosemary and Romeo begin with the same letter?
Rosemary was a token of remembrance between lovers and for the dead.
Yes, nurse, what about that? They both begin with the letter R.
Ah, you jokester. That's the dog's name. R is for the. No. I know it begins with another letter. She says the most beautiful things about you and Rosemary. It would be good for you to hear the things she says.
Give my compliments to your lady.
Yes, 1,000 times. Peter,
I'm ready.
Giving Peter her fan.
go ahead. Go quickly.
They all exit. Act 2, Scene 5.